Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I am so grateful that you have joined me and are following me as I've been doing these interviews for the last couple of months. I wanted to introduce to you somebody who is very special to me, a very dear friend, and a fellow entrepreneur. Today, we wanted to talk about the whole idea of entrepreneurship. In this time that COVID-19 has happened, a lot of people have been drawn to perhaps either being laid off in their positions at work, or their businesses have slowed down, and perhaps the idea of creating a life by your own terms. And I say CEO of your own life because there's a place where you can really reflect inward and find out what you really want to do. And an entrepreneur does exactly that. And I wanted today to bring my guest Jessi on because I wanted to talk to you about this life of an entrepreneur and what does it mean, what does it take, and how it can actually empower and benefit you and your family. So let me bring Jessi on and we'll start this conversation. Hi, Jessi. Thank you
Hi,
so much for joining me. Good morning. How are you?
hi, Nasir. I'm fine. I'm very thankful because you invited me here. I'm just want to let you know, people, I'm from Mexico, so my native language is not English. So if I struggle a little bit, please be patient with me.
Oh, you're amazing. I've watched you on your Facebook lives and you're just brilliant. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is, first, if you can walk us through your journey, so people can kind of get to know you and understand the background.
Okay, I'm an actuary, so I started working in the corporate business. I was working for a very, very big insurance company. It's one of the biggest in the world. I started working here in Mexico. I was very, very passionate about it. I was putting all my effort, all my heart, all my life into this job that I had because it was something that really fulfilled me. But then I was scaling up and things were coming better and better till one point my life changed completely and was something I was not I always wanted to be a mom, but I didn't thought about being a mom and being an employee. Like it never crossed in my mind before this time. So when I became a mom, I started to thought that being a mom and being an employee was not a fit for me. And I was very, very fortunate to have my boy in Germany, because in Germany you have 12 months of maternity leave. So I had 12 months to think about this topic very, very consciously. So then in this period of time, I realized that for me, for my personal values, it was more important to be a present mom than to have a very nice job and the job of my dreams. I was very thankful that I was able to reach this point in my life, this job of my dreams. I was very, very thankful. But I knew that if I continue with that life, I was going to be in conflict for the rest of my life. Like I was going to have an internal fight for the rest of my life. And I really didn't want to do that. So after a lot of thinking, I decided to come back to Mexico to start my own business and being a mom. So that was a very big leap of faith. It was very, very hard at the beginning. I can tell everyone it's not easy, but I can tell you now that it was worth it. So if I had to choose again, so if I had if I could go back to the past and make again the decision, for sure I will make the same decision, because now I know that being a mom is, in my terms, in my experience, it's more important in life because you are impacting the life of a human being, not just being very good at your job or managing people or being efficient, but you are putting like a kind of a seed in this planet. And that for me, it is very important because this is going to be my real legacy. Yeah. So I'm very happy. Now I have the time to be his mom. And also I have the time to run my business at the same time. And I think I couldn't do this, what I'm doing, if I had continued with my job. So I'm encouraging all the people that have this thought of really wanted to have your passion as the main thing. In this case, my passion is being a mom. and just put your business work for your passion, work for what is really important for you. If this is a path that is not easy, and I want to enforce it because it's not easy, but it is really worth it. So a little bit of my story here in just a few minutes, Nasira.
I just want to just kind of interject here. So this is it, right? When you say it's not easy, but because you know very clear of what you're aligned with, meaning you're,
Yeah.
being a mom is extremely important. In fact, it's the priority. And then you've created a business that supports being a mom, being there for your son, having the impact, teaching him about taking these steps and creating something that you are not only just proud of, there's an income that's being generated to support him. And also, the fact is that you're kind of creating a world around him that he can see success and a mom that's figuring things out. It's not easy, but you're figuring it out. And that's the whole life of an entrepreneur. It's not easy, but yet as you take the journey, you figure things out as you come up with obstacles. And so what I wanted to really highlight is that nobody has the manual, already set up in terms of, do A, B, C, and then all of a sudden everything will be fine, right? Sometimes A goes right to X and Y and Z, and then you got to go back and figure things out. So I'm really proud that you were able to take that time and create it, because really, otherwise you would have just followed being an employee and doing what you had to do and not really take the inward journey to say what's really important.
Exactly.
Right?
And you nailed it, Nasira, because that is exactly what happened, that I was able to go inside into what was really important for me, what I thought I was meant to do in this planet, and not just follow what is next. Because if you follow what is next, for me, it was will be obvious to stay at the job, right? Because I needed to have the next promotion or go to another country. I don't know, like the path was very clear there, but that path was not really meant for me. That's what I realized. So yeah, I think being an entrepreneur, it's very worth it, but the most important thing is that it allows you to be the person you're really meant to be, right? So it's very, very fulfilling.
Yes. And I think that's another point, right? When you follow what you're aligned with, right? Like your passion, then even though it gets hard, even though things kind of, come at you and there's obstacles, you are so determined to make the most of it, right? To figure it out, to really fight it out and get to that point of success, that the passion leads you there. The passion fuels you, right? Exactly. It's not so much when you're working and you really don't like your job, but you continually have to go there. It peels away at everything that you stand for and you lose the momentum. So that's just brilliant. I think for anybody that's listening will really attest to it if you are already an entrepreneur. But if you're not, then find that passion, find that thing that really makes you excited, that you want to either, whatever that impact is, the legacy that you want to leave behind, the mission you want to accomplish while we're here on this planet, and it's a short time. So I think it's the whole thing about figuring that out and following it, right? So thank you so much for that, because I think that gives us sort of the background of how you made this decision, which is huge. So now tell us a little bit about the business that you're running and how you help your clients. Like, what do you do for them?
Yeah, so as I came from the financial sector and my background is all about finances, I decided that the most obvious path for me was to build a business around finances. So what I do today is I advise people into investment, and I also advise people into insurance, personal insurance. And I've been doing this for some years now. And what I realized in this path that I chose, is that people, especially in Mexico, I'm not sure everywhere, but especially in Mexico, people with less income, they are not that open to money advice. And for what I think, it's they need more money advice than the people that have more money, right? So I started to open an online business as well, where I provide value to people everywhere, but very simple, not very technical terms, but explaining like if I was explaining it to my child who is 7 years old. So my purpose there is to open the mind of people, of Mexican people, or at least Spanish speaking people, to get close to finances, to get close to smart decisions about money, and not just pretending nothing is there. Because sometimes when people are in debt, for example, they don't want to see the debt because they think if they don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
But unfortunately, it does exist.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do there is to make people, okay, get rid of this pain, get rid of this fear, and start doing small actions that with time will lead you to a better financial stability or better financial decisions, which at the end will provide a capital or something like a safe net, sorry, for people in the future. So these are my two passions now regarding to business.
Well,
And
again, so that's again, you made a really good point that, you know, sometimes people have a very narrow-mindedness in terms of their money mindset, right? And in order to really change how history will unfold for them, their children, and then going forward, is to open this mindset, even if it's little bits by pieces, so that they can understand that the benefit they'll reap is so much greater than the fear they hold.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm focusing on bringing small videos or post or something every single day. So at least one, they are going to watch it. And from there, the seed is already planted, because what my strategy is to make people wonder what could be better if they just start, for example, saving one coin a day. So very, very small steps like that one. And I run challenges around saving one coin every single day for 7 days. So at the end of 7 days, you don't have a lot of capital, right? Saving one coin a day. But what you have, or what people get, is this mindset of start saving. And meanwhile, the challenge is running, I also come with them and talk about the good things that will happen if they continue saving. And I'm very happy, Nasira, to share with you that we have had already very nice results of one guy. He was struggling financially. He was in debt. He didn't know how to move forward regarding his finances. And he came to the challenge. And he started the challenge. It was like 1 year ago already. But he started the challenge 1 year ago. And now he is able to start investing. So he not just got out of that by starting with this simple challenge, but now he's asking me if I can help him to figure it out what is the best investment for him. So these kind of stories make my heart big. Like it grows my heart. I'm very proud about what I'm doing, because just for these little steps, one people can change his life forever. And it was just a challenge of 7 days. You know what I mean? That we make small investment with our time, with our effort, and the result can be amazing. So that's exactly what I want to share with people there.
Right. And this is what it is, right? It's impact driven business. You
Mhm.
want to create impact in other people's life that is lifelong. It's not, you know, where you're teaching such a mindset that they will never be the same again, because they have changed how they think, how they view money, how they are, you know, relating it to whether they start out in debt. I mean, there's obviously some things going on there, right? Where they probably feel like, well, they'll never get out of it. They can't figure it out. So the important thing I want to kind of note here is that, you know, you need somebody. We all need somebody as a coach, as a guide, as a mentor to help us. So if we've figured it out, then we can actually hold the hand of another person and say, you know, I'll walk you through the process because I've done it myself. I can guide you through it. And I think that's really important, is people don't have to figure this out on their own, you know?
Exactly.
You can create be part of a community, be part of a mentorship group where you could be guided to it. And what I found in my business personally was I can shorten the learning curve for people, right? So it took me perhaps 29 years to figure things out, but not everybody has to take 29 years to figure it out. You can
Yeah,
shorten the curve, right? And just allow them to have these successes. Like you said, this was a year ago, and he's already seeing the rewards of that different mindset. That, you know,
yeah.
that's incredible. I think when you can empower others, the gift of that is not measurable with money.
Exactly. And I think this is another um, star for being an entrepreneur, because when I was an employee, of course, I was doing good things, I was impacting, but most of the company's revenues. But now I'm impacting lives. So for me, this is amazing. Of course, I'm getting paid with money because I need money to feed my kid. You
Sure.
already saw him. But also, I feed my heart, my soul. I don't know how to explain it. When I received these kind of stories, I said, okay, I'm like, the fact that I was in front of these people, even though it was online, the fact that he saw my post or he came to my challenge, it has like complete another part of my life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
very, very fulfilling to know that something I said had a positive impact in the life of another human being. That is amazing for me. So that is another thing why I'm so thankful for being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I think that's it, right? Is when we can create that impact for others. Like we have Cheryl here. She's just made a comment, and it's saying, you know, she's saying it's such a great way to support the most vulnerable, the working class, critically need this service, and she's obviously, you know,
Yeah.
giving you a 5-star here by saying well done, because really this is about us not living this singular life of just what's in it for me and what can I do to generate income. And
Yeah.
I want to really talk about this because I've had this conversation with many entrepreneurs that feel, you know, guilty that, oh my God, like I'm going to get paid for this, but yet they want to have impact. And the two don't have to go separately. You
Yeah.
can have impact and create income because we all need this to support our families and our communities at large. When we have income, we can support other charitable organizations and really create something that we can leave a better planet, you know, for our children. So I think the whole idea about, you know, the income guilt, sometimes the conversation starts, is something we have to figure out, that you don't have to have them singular. You can have and create a business that will be profitable
Mm-hmm.
for you to do even more work, more impactful work, and reach more people.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And as I was telling, this is maybe if you have a job, you can do it, you can find a way. But being an entrepreneur is part of the journey. Like, or I cannot think being an entrepreneur without impacting positively the life of another human being. Even if you give a job, you're impacting his life already and the life of his family. So yeah, it's hard. It's not constant. It's something. Sometimes things go right. Sometimes things go wrong. But being an entrepreneur for me is like being alive, like really feeling what life is all about, and you can lead your life and the life of people around you to a better place, not just income wise, but in mentality also. What you were saying before, that this path is allowing me to show my kid another way. Like if he wants to have a job, it's okay, but if he wants to build a business, he know it's possible, that whatever he wants, he just have to be constant, have clarity, and have systems and have people around him to support, and he will achieve what he wants to do. So from my side, I'm just so grateful about having this opportunity of being an entrepreneur, and now also of sharing all the beauties. Just want to clarify it once again, it's not easy, because sometimes people think it's easier to be an entrepreneur than to having a job, and it's not easier. You
Right.
work more, you have to deal with payments, sometimes good, sometimes not good. So it's not easy, but for me, it's completely worth it.
Yep. And I think that's the other side of it, right? I mean, for some, you know, they can be employees, and if that really fuels them, and that's something that's fine. But if, you know, those who want to take the entrepreneurial journey have to be open to it. And that's why clarity is really important. I think you
Right.
mentioned that, you know, where you have to be clear of what your mission is, what you want to accomplish. Is it passion driven? Because if it's just to say, well, so and so is doing it and it worked for them, then I'm just going to do it. Reevaluate that, because then your fuel won't be there to go the long haul, because some days are going to be tougher. And I also want to really point this out. So when people watch certain people on, whether it's social media or, larger companies, television, commercials, you always see the end result. So they made it. They're a millionaire, they're a billionaire, they have these empires.
Yeah.
They don't realize the journey. They just end product, right? Or the end vision. And even in that end, there's struggles. There's still things they're figuring it out, right? So I just want everybody to kind of realize that every person that you see, as you look up to and say, my gosh, they've done so well. They've, created this amazing life. There's a journey behind that. And the journey is up and down, like you said. Income goes up and down. It's not something that's stable like a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So we have to mentally be prepared. So then I want to just touch on one more thing before I let you go. It's mindset. So we touched on it a little bit, but I think for entrepreneurs, especially startup entrepreneurs, there's a really key point of people that succeed and don't succeed as quickly. And it's all mindset based, because if you have a clear mindset or a strong mindset or resilience, then we would see that you'd be able to go over those struggles. Can you just sort of tell me your perspective on this idea of mindset, and how do you cultivate a good mindset?
Yeah, well, I agree with you that mindset is a very, very big part of being successful in business or in anything else. And what I found, Nasira, is that being around like-minded people, maybe it's been said before so many times, but for me, it has been the thing that changed everything. Because of course, there's always people saying, "Oh, what you're doing doesn't work. You will fail. You're so you should go back to job," or all these messages. And as things doesn't always go the way you want, sometimes you start doubting, "Oh, am I doing the right thing? Should I go back to work?" As people say. But if you're surrounded by the right people, like Nasira, we met in a network group of entrepreneurs, you start hearing, "No, you can do it, see, you can do this thing," or "What about this?" So for me, being around the right people has meant a lot. And that's one thing. And the other thing, maybe it's not that mindset related, but it's a little bit in the package, is investing in the right mentors. Because the first part of my life, as I call it, I was paying with time because I was very young, and being in the job, like I knew I was going to follow this path. It was only a matter of time. So I was paying with time. And when I became an entrepreneur, I quickly realized that if I was going to pay with time, it will take me so long. And I couldn't afford it because I'm a single mom. So I need to generate income for my son and for myself. And that made me realize very fast that instead of wasting time, I could invest money and save time. So for now that I'm a little bit more wiser than when I was younger, I always invest in the right mentor, in the right group, in the right team, so I can move forward easier and faster. So that will be my 2 points. Surround yourself with the right people, and never, I don't know how to say this in English. So never think too much about investing in the right mentors and in the right teams.
Right. So basically you're saying don't sort of cheap out on that, because that is going to be what's going to get you to like catapult, your success. And I think, I heard this somewhere in one of my mentorship groups that I follow is, ask yourself or look at your 5 people that you're surrounded by, in terms of, who you listen to, who you talk to, who is in your circle that's very close, because their mindset or their encouragement or their advice, if it's not aligned with who you are, where you want to go, you want to really take stock of this and figure out who you want to be around, because that will play a part.
Very important.
What you said, people will tell you, you can't do this. Oh my God, like, are you crazy? You should go back to getting a 2-week, job where you get paid every 2 weeks, or, why are you struggling? Why not just get it done easily, right? But you have to be very clear on your mission and what you feel like is right for you. and then find the people that will support you. I think this, you know, what you've shared is like, it's so valuable when people are taking this journey. Because I know when I took the entrepreneur journey, I think almost 20 years ago, you know, there's fear, right? We're scared. You don't know what you're doing. And I, like you, was a single mom then. And so you're very, you know, aware, right, that you have to support your family. But it's the passion and that whole idea of, I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it, right? And that belief in yourself. So thank you so much for sharing your insight and your time and your light with me. You know, I love you and I adore you.
I love you too, Nasira. Thank you very much for this time.
I just want to let people know that are listening to this, or if you're on replay, please hashtag replay. You can find Jessi on her Facebook page at Jessi Penia. Both names combined. Look for her there, befriend her, ask questions, get engaged, start talking to people who are doing it. If you're empowered by this message, then go talk to people who've done it and who are still figuring it out, because we're here to help, we're here to encourage. And as women, I think we need to support each other.
Yeah.
And so I think this is an amazing interview. I hope you all enjoyed it. Jessi, any parting words before I say goodbye to you?
Yeah, thank you, Nasira, very much. And yes, for sure, reach out. You will find everything in Spanish, obviously. But if you comment or ask something in English, I will reply in English. So feel free to ask any question you have regarding finances or regarding being an entrepreneur, or how to surround yourself with the right people. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessi. I will see you again soon, virtually for now, but I will see you soon. So people, I hope you've enjoyed it. She's an inspiring person. I think that her energy is contagious. So please reach out to her if you have questions, if you want to just be around like-minded women. You can message me, you can message Jessi. Just join us on our journey as well. We're here to support you and encourage you. So tomorrow I will have another person on for our interview. If I can tell you, let me just check and make sure that I have a young lady that is an entrepreneur, and her story is going to be very inspiring. So join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will be talking with a lady named Zishan. So wishing you all a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself and to yourself and to others. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.